John Basco was arrested Thursday. He died Sunday. Now his family and his attorney are demanding answers.
You can see from the booking photos is clear-eyed, all right? In good health, clear-eyed, all right? Is mysteriously dead.
Cameron Spradling is John Basco's attorney. According to jail officials, Basco was arrested Thursday on drug trafficking charges, as well as carrying or possessing a firearm as a convicted felon.
I wasn't aware that John was even at the Oklahoma County Jail until the late afternoon of the 9th.
Spradling says on Sunday, Basco's sisters called him to deliver the news.
One was talking to me and the other one was crying, wailing in the background, truthfully, that John was dead.
Last year, Basco and other former inmates filed a lawsuit, claiming that in 2019, they were pulled out of their cells in the middle of the night, handcuffed, and forced to listen to the song Baby Shark, in some cases, for hours at a time.
It's a known torture device that's used by CIA and others to play it on a loop for hours on the end. And they just did it for sport.
2 former detention officers and their supervisor were charged. Before the end of the year, all 3 had either quit or resigned. That lawsuit is set to go to trial, and Spradling wants to know what happened to the man he was representing.
He was a quiet man. He was an intelligent man. That's John Basco. And John Basco was the best witness the district attorney had on the Baby Shark torture case.
Lauren Daniels, Oklahoma's News 4.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there, and this is like one of the strangest stories right here. One of my subscribers sent it to me, and I'm thinking it's going to be something completely different as far as they just played the song and it made him want to just take his life. But no, they used the song Baby Shark, which many of us have come to know what that song is, because that song, well, I put it like this. If you live in the DC area, that became like an official theme song for the Washington Nationals when they won the World Series, which was the first World Series they had won. And that song became a huge theme song. Like you could hear it everywhere. Like it got played even on the radio at times, to the point where it did get annoying, because you know, if you play something over and over again, it can become annoying. But that Baby Shark song literally was played everywhere. Who would have thought that they would have used that song as a torture device? Like you heard what the attorney said in the video. They would take the inmates out of their cell at night, in the middle of the night, handcuff them, and force them to listen to that song, a children's song, in an endless loop as a form of torture. And now this guy wanted to sue them, and now all of a sudden he's gone. Listen, I can only draw one conclusion when it comes to the story, and that for me is that the guards deleted him when they saw that lawsuit was pretty much coming up, because they probably saw he had a case. Then all of a sudden the guards start resigning and quitting. Come on now, like that's too many red flags and too many coincidences right there for it to not make sense. And the thing is, he wasn't the only person that was listed down in the lawsuit. Like there were others. So I'm curious to know what's going to happen to those other inmates. I'm going to read a little bit more into it that's coming from this website called meall.com that was posted September 13, 2022. This is in a 2019 lawsuit filed against the county. An Oklahoma inmate who was found dead in his cell over the weekend alleged the jail staff tortured him and other inmates by making them listen to the children's song Baby Shark continuously for hours. Officials from the Oklahoma County Detention Center reported that the 48-year-old John Basco was discovered unconscious in his cell early on the morning of September 10th. Following the start of life-saving measures, jail staff reported that he had been pronounced dead. Mark Opgran, a spokesman for the jail, said there were no obvious signs of foul play. Of course, they're going to go with that. And that investigators will look into the likelihood of a drug overdose. Of course, that's probably what they want it to be, especially since that is what one of the reasons he landed in jail. The cause of death will be determined by the state medical examiner. Basco, who was booked into the jail on September 7th on drug trafficking charges, was among a group of inmates who filed a federal lawsuit against the county for allegedly being shackled to a wall and forced to listen to the song Baby Shark for hours at various events in 2019. So listen to that. So this guy was in this prison before. He was there before, and he's suing them. He was suing them for what they did in 2019. And what's the irony that he gets arrested and booked into the same prison, and then he dies at that same prison? Come on now, like more red flags are popping up. They probably saw that he had a case, and they said, we got to get rid of him before this thing ever makes it to court. That's just how they are. I keep telling y'all, these police organizations run like a gang, and they have no issue with it continuing to run just like it. In connection with the incidents, a jail lieutenant was retired and 2 correctional officers were fired, as all 3 were facing misdemeanor charges. The circumstances surrounding Basco's death, according to Basco's lawyer Cameron Spradling, are disturbing, and he has appealed for the preservation of all evidence while the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation into it progresses. I'm really bothered by this, Spradling said. One of the Baby Shark victims is conveniently dead within 3 days of his arrival at the jail. How does that happen? District Attorney David Prater just lost one of his witnesses for the upcoming criminal trial. For me, this one does not pass the smell test. Basco has a long history of criminal. I'm not going to go into that one because I'm not here to read into his criminal history. It says Daniel Hendrick, Joseph Mitchell, and John Basco claimed in the Baby Shark lawsuit that they were taken from the cells at the Oklahoma County Detention Center by 2 officers, placed in a standing stress position with their arms handcuffed behind their backs, and then forced to listen to the popular children's song on repeat for hours. Christian Charles Miles and Gregory Cornell Butler Jr., the 2 police officers involved, were described as wanton, depraved, and sadistic in the lawsuit, which labeled their behavior tantamount to torture. It used the Baby Shark song by Pink Fong, which went viral in 2019, as an example of how the behavior was similar to the heavy metal music played at Guantanamo Bay as part of an enhanced interrogation strategy to break the willpower of Iraqi prisoners. So that's a common tactic that these prisons will do. They will use music to torture. If all we know, it could be your favorite song, but if you know, well, first off, they're not going to play their favorite song because you might actually enjoy it. So they use that song, but what's so sadistic about and sick about it is they used a children's song to do it. They didn't use a song that most adults would listen to. They used a children's song that kids and toddlers are obsessed with to torture these inmates. That made them draw up this lawsuit. And now this guy is dead. That's one down because it's 2 others mentioned. All I'm going to say is this. They better keep a close eye on that prison and see about those other 2 and check in on them. Because if they try to scoop them up off the street and put them in that same prison, they going to probably face the same fate that this guy did. And they said he went in there completely healthy. Like, this was his mugshot. This was the mugshot that they took of him when they booked him a couple weeks ago. He looks completely healthy. Like, nothing is wrong with him. Like, look at his face, look at his eyes. There's nothing wrong. But now he's gone. How many times have we heard stories where black people get booked into these prisons or these jails, these county jails, and they mysteriously end up deleted? Sandra Bland definitely comes to mind. There's a couple of others, but she's definitely one of the more infamous ones. But yeah, I'm sure that his family is going to definitely stay on top of this, as well as his attorney, because that something is not, as the attorney said, is not passing the smell test. They, in my opinion, took this man out. It's too coincidental for me to believe that is something else. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. I upload my videos in a Premiere style format, so in case the bell does not work for you, you should receive the notification that way as long as you press the notify me button at either the bottom left or bottom right of the thumbnail. The links will be down in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.